A little while ago, I drafted this sun shrug, and I love it. It is a lot of fun. However, I do have some shirts that it does not fully cover, and I do get sometimes a little sunburn right where the sun shrug stops and my shirt stops, and there's just a small gap. So today we're going to be drafting a little bit more comprehensive sun shrug so that it lowers that hemline just a little bit more, so that I don't get little smiley faces burns on the back of me. Let's bring up Illustrator and get started. So what I'm going to do, I'm still going to have it cut very close in the front. So I'm going to be cutting just a little bit here, and I'm going to be lengthening that back just a little bit. So let's start by making a decision on 0.25, 0.25. We're going to draft a little rectangle that we can turn into a circle. Whoops. There we go. And that's just going to help give me a guide for this sun shrug, because I think I want like 3 inches back down here to really make sure that I am fully covered with the sun shrug. So we're going to move it 3 inches, and then we're going to rotate it from the original point right back onto that line. And then let's do a copy paste. Oh. There it is. And we're going to do another transform move, 0, 3, and rotate from the original point. Awesome. Now, the last thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to give myself, I'm going to take this just an inch in from the neckline, or I'm going to pull it out an inch is what I'm going to do. So we're going to transform move, and we're going to go horizontally, -1, 0, and we're going to rotate on the original point till it's on that line. And we're going to do the same thing on the front. So let's zoom in, get our point. Ooh, I almost got it right on there. Gotta love when that happens. Transform move, 1, 0. And we're going to rotate just like that. Awesome. So that's going to give me those guidelines to make sure that of where I know my sun shrug definitely has to be. So then I'm going to create a new layer, lock that original layer, and we're going to pen this out. So I'm going to trace, click, and then I'm just going to click right on that point and give me a nice little swoop. Then to go up, make sure you re-click on that anchor point, click, and follow the curve. There we go. And I can go in and fine-tune some of those points just, whoops, to make sure they line up as close as possible. There we go. Now I'm going to trace the front. And I just realized I should have added one more point, but I didn't, and we'll make it work. So then I'm just going to go straight across, and now I'm going to keep it nice and high. So originally what I was saying is I should have dropped that just a little bit, but because I want it up on my neck as much as possible, I'm actually going to leave it just like that and give that a nice little curve like so. Then I'm going to go back and fine tune those anchor points because I was definitely off on a few of them. But they are easy enough to fine tune. It's what I love about this. I can just quickly manipulate them and make sure that everything looks good. That out. Move that out and up. There we go. So that's the basis of the shrug. So then what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to create a long sleeve because this is my knit short sleeve pattern and I want a long sleeve to really cover up my arms so that I don't get burned, because having funky tan lines, as it's funny to watch, it is not good for the health. So I am going to, move this guy up and we're going to add again 23 inches at 270. And then we're going to also have it in at 8 inches at 0. And then we're going to line them all up so I know that they're centered. And it looks like I need to raise that guy so that he is touching. Awesome. I'm going to go back and lock that layer. And now I'm on the wrong layer. Let's get on the right layer. There we go. Pen out my sleeve. Not quite hitting that. Let's see if I can do a better job actually hitting my anchor points this time. There we go. Top and bottom. There we go. And now I'm going to finish these. So I'm going to pull this anchor point in like so. Zoom in on it so I can actually see what I'm doing and grab it. There we go. Get it to line up nicely. Get it right on that point. And do the same on this side. Pull one in, make sure it's nice and lined up, and pull it so that it is giving that nice smooth transition. And there we have it. We have again the start of this shrug. The last thing that I need to do is create the bindings that I will have. So I know this is 8 inches, so I'm going to create a square that is 8 by 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what my neckline would be. So I'm going to add this. So I'm actually going to copy paste. I'm going to cut a pattern apart that I can then just delete later. So let's select and we're going to cut and cut. Then we're going to cut here and here and here and here. Didn't quite get on there. There we go. Then we are going to pull out our calculator again. Exit isolation mode. And we're going to add these together. So say we're going to start center back. We're going to go center back, up this front, and this front then connects to here, which is around the back of the neck, and then that connects back to the other back of the neck, which goes back down here to there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this line, which is, let's go to documents, and we're on objects. Great. So it's 14.79. We're going to call it 14.8 plus, we're going to then go 10.75 And then we're going to plus the last one up here, which is 4.23, and that's 29.78. And we're going to times that by 2 to get our full length, which is 59.56. So we either need a square that is 59.56 by 1, or sometimes, like, you're going to be using this out of scraps of patterns, you just need to get as long of a length as you can, and then you can finish off everything and sew the last final part of it together and just sew off the extra. Because I do know that sometimes you are working with a smaller amount of fabric and you sometimes have to piece these longer pieces together. They don't come in as quickly and easily. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And if you are interested in getting just this pattern, I will definitely link it down below. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? And there we have it. We have now patterned a second sun shrug that hopefully will have a little bit more coverage on our backs so that there's no accidental sunburns. If you're interested in just getting the pattern, I will have a link for it down below. Make sure to check back to see how this sun shrug is made so that you can also make it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to also like and subscribe so that you can see other fun ways to digitally apparel pattern your own garments. I hope to see you in some of my other videos. Happy patterning!